Long before his "I Have a Dream" speech, Martin Luther King Jr. was just 15 years old when he gave his very first public speech right here in Dublin, Georgia. That moment would change everything. His very first public speech was titled "The Negro and the Constitution." Back then, the word Negro was considered a mark of dignity. Leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois fought to have it capitalized. Then language changes over time.
I haven't heard that word used since the 40s.
And Bill's right. By the 1960s, the Black Power movement made black the new banner of pride. And in the 1980s, Jesse Jackson championed African Americans to highlight heritage. Each shift reflected how people wanted to be seen in their own era. So when we hear the title today, it jars our ears. But in King's day, it carried respect. And here in Dublin, Georgia, it marked the beginning of his voice as a leader. The Colored Elks of Georgia were holding their annual oratorical contest. The topic, in 1944, what freedom and democracy meant in the middle of World War II. 15-year-old Martin, already known as a bright student, entered the competition here in this church. His talk was titled "The Negro and the Constitution." He spoke with clarity well beyond his years, calling out the gap between America's promise of freedom and the reality of segregation. A teenager reminded the audience that the fight for liberty abroad meant nothing if the freedom at home was denied. For many, it was the first glimpse of the voice that would later move a nation. Some accounts say he won the contest, others say he did not. What matters is that the experience lit a fire. Martin realized the power of standing before the people and speaking the truth. Dublin had become the training ground for a young leader. But history doesn't move in straight lines. On the ride back to Atlanta, young Martin was forced to give up his seat to a white passenger. A bitter reminder that even after speaking of freedom, he was still bound by segregation. Dublin has not forgotten. The First African Baptist Church still stands. The park next door remembers him with a mural and markers. And every year, students compete in a contest that honors the teenager who once stood nervously at that pulpit, a contest that launched a dream. Long before the dream was shared in Washington, it began here in Dublin. A 15-year-old Martin Luther King Jr. found his voice in this town, and history would never be the same. For more untold Georgia stories, join us by subscribing to not miss the next episode as we keep uncovering the roots of Georgia history today.